Hello everyone, a very good morning. Welcome to Samiksha Academy. Let's read today's newspaper. See the first headline. Day after Trump's inaugural Quad meet likely with India at the table. As you all know, Trump once again he became the president of United States. So in this context, especially in the context of Indo-US relations, so we just need to tap this particular issue, be it with respect to Quad. Yesterday we discussed about the regulatory framework, the A regulatory framework of US. There India got excluded in the top 18 allies. India was kept in the second list as a middle member. Understood that? So in this context, to understand the Indo-US relations, this particular article will be helpful. So just tap the headline, right? But this is important. Army's vice chief flags 2047 agenda, social communal harmony, manufacturing jobs, right? So as you all know, the Prime Minister of the country set the agenda that by 2047 India would be a developed country, Vikasit Bharat. So I feel in this context, even when you're writing an essay or when you're writing any answer with respect to economy, growth and development in GS paper 3, right? Even in GS paper 2, when you're writing answers with respect to social justice, right? So these kind of statements will be useful. See here the core points, like if you really want to become a developed country, where we need to focus in the upcoming years. So definitely one on the manufacturing sector, right? Another one on employment, human development index, unsettled borders. So when you're writing about border management, right, in GS paper, the internal security, you can use this information as said by the Army's vice chief. Border management is still a challenge for us, that we need to set it right. So you can use the current information rather than taking any old examples. Use the fresh live information to justify your answer. So I feel in that context these headlines will be useful. So the focused areas. Next, another one. So this is very important, especially in the context of prelims. President at home, this Republic Day will sound, taste and feel like South India, right? What it is available in the next page. Just wait for a time. I will be showing you that. See here. Yeah. Before that, just discussing about it, just see a continuation of the first one. Day of the Trump inaugural one. So recently in that A regulatory framework, as I said, in the top 18 allies, India was not included as a cause of concern. So that's why another one during this Quad summit, they discussed about this ISET initiative for critical and emerging technologies. On one side, USA wants to, they promise to share this critical and emerging technologies with India. On the other side, see here this point. So there will be issues in the relationship. So these issues must be rectified as early as possible, so that in the coming future we can strengthen our strategic, economic, military, right, and other relationships with US. In that context, we have to say this. Now see this information. See, very important in the context of prelims. So Ikat fabric, right, of Telangana, Etikopaka toys of Andhra Pradesh, Ganjifa artifacts from Karnataka, Kanchipuram silk from Tamil Nadu, right, and screw pine weaved bookmark, Kalamkari. These all are the what you call the artifacts and flavors of the South, the art and culture of the South. So these things President Draupadi Murmu will be presenting to the guests. So the Republic Day guests, as you all know, already it got confirmed that Indian Ocean President, what's his name, Prabowo Subianto. So he will be coming as the inaugural guest of this Republic Day event. So in this context, along with him, lot many artists and other prominent personalities will be attending the event, right? For them, these gifts will be given. Okay, it's a very general, it looks like a general information, but in the context of exam, right, I feel we need to pay attention to these areas. Understood that? Especially when you prepare for art and culture and history. In that context, try to remember this. Along with that, this one, because it promotes one district, one product, recent GA tag related information. So in the context of prelims, pay attention here. Also see this one, drone Didis. Rural women trained using drones, especially with respect to agriculture. Right, how to use drones in agriculture. So they are being named as drone Didis. They also will be attending the event. So this is about the upcoming Republic Day event. So in this context, I feel you should underline that. Rest. See, this is that one, the continuation of the first page. But the core point here is we need to pay attention on border management, right? The jobs, manufacturing sector, and what are the major issues. So whenever we come across this kind of things, like whenever if any prominent personality raises, we need to pay attention that. See here with respect to internal problems, J&K still a challenge, Northeast left wing extremism. With respect to border management, we have issues with Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Indian neighborhood, Maldives, Afghanistan, China. So you could just get a summary of the issue, the whole issue. So that's why we need to pay attention to this kind of article. Next, so it is, this is with respect to Delhi elections. See this one. Supreme Court asks UP and Haryana to consider imposing perpetual ban on sale and bursting of crackers. This is especially with respect to reducing pollution in Delhi. Okay. So I feel in this context you should understand this. Next, yeah, this is important. See why I highlighted. Supreme Court stays High Court order asking AAP government to sign MOI with Centre, right, to implement the scheme. So again, this will become a federal issue, right? Because here first High Court said if you want to implement Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, you need to incorporate, you need to sign an MOU with the center. But the Delhi government's argument is that we will be going on our own. So here, as you all know, if you see this, as per the NCT, the central government can frame laws only on three things. Entry number 1, entry number 2 and entry number 18. What are the? Public order, police and land. Public order, police, land, these three will be regulated by the center, but the remaining areas will be regulated by the NCT government, National Capital Territory of Delhi government, that is the current AAP government. So here this kind of interference, like center, we should take permission from the center to implement health related schemes. It shouldn't happen. That's the argument. So why I highlighted this, because it's a federal issue between the Union Territory of Delhi and center. So that's why we just tap it. Next, okay, just say it may be useful with respect to careers. Next, this is about just Delhi. Yeah, this is very important. Top court authorizes district DCPs to use NatGrid to curb crime. As you all know, after the 26/11 attacks of 2008, right? The attacks in this Taj and Oberoi hotels. We thought like there was an intelligence failure, especially when it comes to getting data from outside. Who are the people? Who are these individuals? This David Headley. He came to India, right, as a US citizen. So initially he hailed from Pakistan, right. He did the whole recce, then went back and submitted the details to the Pakistan based terrorists. Understood that. So after that we thought like we need to have this kind of intelligence that should be gathered regarding people who are who are the people coming to India, who are the people going outside India. So that's why I see here this NatGrid. It collects data related to immigration records, banking details, travel history, phone data, among other things. Around 24 sets of data it will be collecting, right? Along with that, we have another one called as CCTNS, Crime and Criminal Tracking Network System. So these all the police stations are using right now, so that if any criminal did the activity in one particular state, right, and roams in another state, understood, there if any cases gets reported, all these cases will be coordinated across the country through this CCTNS network. So now if we if these police use both NAT grid right now being mostly used by the central agencies. Okay. So this is with respect to Delhi. Now they are asking for, they are asking the police even use the NAT grid related information. So both NAT grid and CCTNS effectively can be used to curb criminal activities. Understood that? So in that context, I feel you should understand that. Along with that, I also highlighted this one. See here, E-Praman. It is a video record search, right? There is a strategy called as the whitelisting. Whitelisting means what? If you list these devices separately, right, you can, like, these devices now cannot be accessed by any outsiders. So they will be using a private server because that server will not be used by any outsiders. Suppose for example, people like you and me, we will be using the common servers that anybody can use. So they are prone to be attacked. But if you are using a private server, there the data will be regulated. Not all common people can utilize that server, those kind of servers. So if intelligence agencies use that kind of server, it's a kind of cyber security strategy. If you use these servers, the devices, if they are using those servers, only those people who are getting connected will be utilizing that. So that is the strategy the police, the agents are following. It needs to be implemented in a wide scale. Right. So these are some of the things, like how the police need, like what kind of strategies police need to follow to nab the criminals and to not get trapped by the hackers. So this is about the Religare case by the Singh brothers. So it is an economic offence they committed. Just headline. Next, yeah. Resolve differences by Jan 2022, or else we will step in. So a few days back also we discussed the tussle between R.N. Ravi and CM Stalin of Tamil Nadu, right? Especially with respect to appointments. So governor issued a notification without taking the concurrence of the chief minister, and chief minister objected it because you have to take the concurrence of the chief minister. Without that, as a chancellor, you cannot issue a notification for the appointment of vice chancellors. Understood. So because of that, the tussle is happening with respect to appointments. So the matter went up to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that you have to resolve the differences on your own. If not, then we have to come and enter. So just to tap it. Next, yeah, say this. In national security cases, initiate trial in absentia. It means if any individual, any what you call fugitives, right, if they escape from the country, right, not returning back, in that case launch the trial. So that's what Shah suggested here, initiate trial in absentia. Yeah, that is the next. Yeah, this is important. So as Uttarakhand government is planning to gear up for implementation of UCC, Uniform Civil Code, minority outfit for a legal battle. So there are some key points here. When it comes to implementing this UCC, still it is excluding the tribals. So tribals are still excluded from this UCC that the Uttarakhand government is planning to implement, right? But the major concern here is being raised by the Muslim community. Why? Because they are feeling like this particular UCC is majorly to target this particular community. So that's why it is the Muslim community that is raising concerns with respect to this kind of gearing up for UCC by Uttarakhand government, right? What are their concerns? If you see here, their main thing is Article 246. It deals with 7th schedule. In 7th schedule, we have matters of both state, center and the concurrent list, right? So this UCC is not only just limited to the state government, it may impact the central government laws for which state government does not have the power, right? In the similar fashion, we will be, if we see here, we have issues like this is with respect to marriage. As of now, when it comes to Muslim women, if Muslim men and Muslim women, the marriage is as per the Muslim personal law, right? There, if the woman reaches the puberty, right, then she will be ready to get married. But in the as per, if you see the Hindu marriage law and the Special Marriage Act, it says if an individual, if a male person crosses 21 years age and female person crosses 18 years age, then only they are eligible for the marriage. Now they want this Muslim personal law should be in sync with the same, the Hindu Marriage Law and the Special Marriage Act. In the similar fashion, it want to outlaw, already outlawed this iddat and nikala. Iddat means what? Like 4 month and 10-day period within waiting period for women to remarry. Suppose if any woman got divorced, then as per this, at least she has to wait for 4 months 10-day period to remarry. In the similar fashion, this nikah halal. Nikah halal means if a Muslim man divorces a Muslim woman, right, to remarry the same woman, then the woman must undergo another marriage and should give a divorce, then should come for the marriage. So these kind of practices and like practices like polygamy and bigamy, marrying more than one woman, so these all are being outlawed as per this UCC, right? And the inheritance rules also being changed. So these things have among these there are some issues that are cause of concern for the community. So that's the reason they are planning for a legal battle. So that's the issue. See here how this is about with respect to science and technology. How sun play role in SPADEX success. As you all know, sun if you see, if this is earth, if this is sun, we have the earth's magnetic field, right, and we have sun's magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field will be protecting the inner atmosphere, right, from the sun storms, sun's magnetic storms. But if the satellites are here, right, they are outside the outside the what you call that, in this outer space, right, they may be affected by the sun storms. So when sun is in stable position in the solar cycle, then only whatever activities that we are planning to do, experiments in the outer space, that is possible. If there are severe sunstorms, it is not possible. So for the SPADEX success, sun also played a crucial role here. In other words, sun was stable that time, helped for the success of the SPADEX mission. So that is about that, an update. Next, Supreme Court, abatement of suicide charge must not invoke casually. What exactly it means? Abatement means what? Helping an individual to commit suicide. What does it mean? That means, suppose if an individual incurred a financial loss, right, because of that individual committed to planning to commit a suicide, and in that suicide note the individual mentioned that because of the so and so individual I am planning to commit a suicide. If this is the case, immediately what police are doing, because the individual just wrote the name of that particular individual, police are invoking section 306. See here they mention section 306, they will be invoking as per this section, right, because you helped that, because you indirectly, because of you that person committed suicide, so we are arresting you as per the section 306 of IPC, or the current section in the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, section 108, right, because recently it got renamed as Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, the new criminal law, right. So the 306 got shifted to 108. So as per this, because of you the individual got arrested, so the individual committed suicide, so you can be arrested. So this is called abatement of suicide. Abatement means because of you the individual got committed suicide. Understood that? So but Supreme Court's argument here is, if just to what you call, to give some kind of solace to the family, if you are arresting an individual, it is not fair. First, fair investigation has to happen, then only arrest the individual, whether the case is really genuine or not, really this individual is responsible or not. So it's a kind of caution Supreme Court expressed with respect to utilizing of the law. This is what we must understand here, right? Next all you can just glance through. This is Kuki-Zo leaders with respect to northeast of India, right? The Kuki Meitei issue in the Manipur, in that context I will look at it. And this one, see, year after losing firstborn to boat tragedy, I think you all know, in the month of Jan 2024, a boat tragedy happened in Vadodara. There around 11 plus children, 2 teachers, they died because of the overcrowding of the boat. The boat got eventually capsized and all the people died, most of them are the children. Understood that. So that boat tragedy happened last year. The couple who lost their daughter gave birth to a child. Understood that. So in that context, so it's an emotional thing, but the thing here what we need to understand is why this kind of boat capsizing things happens, right? Why we should be careful. So in this context, we should have a look at this. Next, this is just a headline. Next, yeah, see this. Incentives, not resources. Budget prioritize must facilitate an improvement in conditions of production. The essence here she mentioned, see. Last year, the budget had proposed a framework for better coordination with states. Food supply should be focus area. Another is simplifying regulation. The center tells us that they have removed thousands of archaic laws, but business do not find life to be easier. The simplification has to percolate down to the second and third tiers of the government, reaching to the local officials. In simple terms, whatever laws that are being framed at the top, that must reach to the local level. Then only every year, even if you are planning for something big, right, until unless if they reach to the local places, local officials, because at the end of the day it is at the grassroots level these laws will be implemented. Understood. So in that context, whatever reforms that the government is planning for, be it in terms of resource support or in terms of incentives, so that must reach to the local level. So that's what the article is all about with respect to economic incentives. Again, this is important. This QS world skill, I think you know about this QS. QS is a think tank, right? London based one. So it will be releasing reports with respect to university ranks. So it recently released a report, it mentioning about future skills index. So in that, India's rank is fine, but still when it comes to our education sector, still we have challenges as we discussed yesterday, right? The student enrollment ratio for higher courses, they are getting decreased. The reason being lack of sufficient staff, right? Lack of sufficient motivation for the student, right? Because with the same BTech degree and the MTech degree, they are getting same amount of salary, and lack of what you call newer courses, the courses that can offer higher salaries. Understood. In this at the same time, the course is not integrated with the current demands of the industry. Because of these reasons, we have some issues in the higher education sector. That's what AICT also says, right? So that's the reason, as per to in sync with the new education policy, AI, robotics, data sciences, cyber security, these areas we need to pay attention, right? Investment has to be increased. Suppose for example, say current investment in R&D less than 1%, 0.65. Global average is 1.79. 1.79 is the global average. India average 0.65. That means our R&D expenditure is very low. This must be improved. Understood. Countries like US, their R&D expenditure is more than 4 to 5%. Israel, South Korea, right, highest in their R&D expenditure. But in the case of India, the R&D expenditure is quite low, still less than 1%. If this improves, then eventually this kind of skill ecosystem also will improve. This is what we should understand from this article. Next, this is okay, you can just leave it. Again, this is already going, and this is with respect to Russian oil. Why? Because this USA put sanctions on Russian oil. Right now, because USA wants to strengthen its relationship with India, and similarly India wants to strengthen its relationship with US. In this context, how to balance both Russia and US? This is the challenge. That's the point here. How could India be impacted? So definitely we will be impacting, but the main thing here is we need to balance. Because why? Because at the end of the day, we are an independent country. We have our own independent foreign policy. See here, engaging with Taliban. This article already feel like in the recently talks held in Dubai, right, with respect to India and Afghanistan relations. As you all know, Afghanistan is very crucial for India, right? Not only to engage with the Central Asia, but also to stop using Afghanistan as a place by Pakistan, right? To create breeding ground for terrorist organizations, right? So in this context, whenever we try to establish a relationship with Afghanistan, we must give importance to that. Already we are giving way, because in the recent past the relationships got quite strengthened, but recently, as you all know, there is a change of guard. Taliban took power in Afghanistan, so that's why in this context I feel we must be realistic here in terms of strengthening the relations. Though there are lot many issues, for example, with respect to condition of women, there are challenges, but we must see the practical side also. Understood? So that is about this. See this one, why space weather is key to successful docking. Just now we discussed space weather, the solar storms. This article already we covered in detail. From the past few days we are covering about the space docks mission. Next, just see this. US Apex Court upholds banning of TikTok because the promoters ByteDance, they want to disinvest certain some of their shares, but they are not ready. So that's the reason they, for the purpose of national security, because it's a Chinese operated firm. Because of that, US also has to ban this TikTok. Next, see here, Putin, Iran president signed defense pact in Moscow. Iran and Russia, they are becoming closer. They both are important for India. Understood? So India need to balance both. One side we need to balance the West, that is US led thing, and the other side we need to balance Russia. And here Russia and China, Russia and Iran, they are good allies. So Masoud Peshkian, the Iranian president. See this, Indian national gets 8-year jail for 2023 bid to attack White House. I think you all know in 2023 this individual, right? He carried some Nazi literature and the Nazi flag. Understood? So he eventually got arrested. So he got influenced by this Nazi ideology and he eventually got arrested. Now he was given 8 years of sentence. So this we discussed yesterday. Auto Expo in Delhi. PM Modi calls India auto sector fantastic and future ready. This one. Next one is slowing nominal growth, major headwind, front loading capex, easy monetary conditions critical for reviving economy. So that means in simple terms, everyone have their own presentation before the budget. So in this context, as per this individual, right, front loading capital expenditure, that means initially give big push for certain sectors, so that eventually they will be helping other sectors to revive. Understood? Similarly, have a favorable monetary policy condition, that means have favorable interest rates. So that is about it. See this RBI bulletin, RBI article. Economic growth poised to rebound, but food inflation needs careful vigil. So food inflation is always because at crucial times, food inflation plays very crucial role, because it changes the whole headline inflation. Sometimes if you take out the food inflation, that's why we have this core inflation, non-food and non-fuel inflation. If you take inflation, that means rising prices, food and fuel, these two plays very crucial role to rise the prices of lot many other products, because they are the primary things. So that's why food inflation must be taken care. So this we already discussed about this QS future skills report, right? It said India is in a better position. It is ready for the future skills. That means future skills is with respect to artificial intelligence, cyber security. However, we still have gaps that we just discussed about, our higher education gaps that we must fulfill if we need to be fully ready about it. Next is just some movie related information. Yeah, Patal Lok. If anyone watched Patal Lok 1, it's actually good. You can watch it. That's it. That's it for the day, right? Thank you.